nervous about this weekend, but we will make it happen. Okay, I'm going to check and make sure. Good morning, guys. It is Wednesday, March 15th, 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern. We are live and in action doing our weekly training inside our three support groups. I have two, Samantha Boss. I have the ugly truth of divorce and the ugly truth of co-parenting. And Leah Marie over here has divorce and empowered. We are both on TikTok live at the same time right now. So if you're following Leah Marie, she's on TikTok. I'm on TikTok. We're live in our support groups. I don't know if we could get anywhere else except for maybe if we went live on YouTube at the same time. But we are trying to get the message out to as many people as possible that we are here to help. We are both divorce coaches. We both cover something completely different. I cover parenting plans, making sure that you make the best decisions possible for your future as a single parent. And Leah Marie over here really focuses on divorce recovery for the mental, emotional side of things. Mags is in the house on my side.
Hey, she helped me out last time when you had to jump off and Ebony jumped on. She was in there doing doing her thing.
So what we do is we post questions inside of our support groups and we say, hey, if anybody wants training on anything particular, post the question about divorce, about divorce recovery, about co-parenting. We both kind of tend to go towards, at least I do, heavily high conflict. Leah Marie, since we've been working together for so long, is really helping more of my clients with their high conflict divorces as well and really regulating themselves back to who they want to be. So we come on and we post in our groups and asking people, what questions do you have? What are your concerns? And then we use this Wednesday, every Wednesday at 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific time to answer those questions. But today we're going to start with a training. Today we are going to dive into, what did you call it specifically?
Self-awareness, cultivating self-awareness.
Self-awareness. And I'm going to tell just a little bit of my story, and then Leah Marie's going to pretty much rip me apart for what I did for about 8 years. 8 years. When I got divorced, my ex-husband was high conflict, and he kept me in court 300 times. We've had 300 court appearances. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. And we drug it out for 8 years. And so during that 8 years, I played victim. I played, this is happening to me. My life is miserable. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. Woe is me. Like, it's misery. You guys have no idea. He's taking me to court. He's doing this. Everything was his fault. I mean, everything. Probably when my bread molded, it was probably his fault. I blamed him for everything. And for 8 years, there might've been glimpses of it, but for 8 years, I really didn't have any self-recognition. I didn't realize I was playing a part in it. I wasn't playing a part, or I was playing a part in everything. I played a part in why I went to court so much. I played a part in why my lawyer bill was so high. I played a part in why my kids were struggling. I played a part in why I was letting him into my life. I played a part in that. So today, Leah Marie is really going to educate us on some do's and don'ts and some just ways to really self-reflect. When I finally, what I call, got bumped upside the head and woke up, and realized it was when I was doing my personal development and taking some self-awareness of going, okay, I'm allowing this to happen to me. And then I'm allowing it to ruin my day. And then I'm allowing it to affect my children. And I'm allowing it to affect my finances. And I was like, oh shit. I might not have been as heartless in the process and jugular stricken as he was, but I was letting it affect me. It wasn't him affecting me. I was allowing it to affect me. So take it away, Leah Marie. Kind of educate us a little bit on what that's like, what people are thinking, where's their mind at, and how do we switch that?
Yeah, and I already have questions coming in too. Here's for my TikTok fam. Sam and I are doing a workshop in my group. So if you're not in our support group, you can go in there, link in my bio. But that's what's going on here. But we will address your questions too. So self-awareness is so important because if you're not reflecting on the role you play, what's to stop you from making the same mistakes in the future, right? What if you're just playing the blame game, right? He did this, he did that, he's doing this, he's a dick, he's not listening, he doesn't want to cooperate, which may be very well true, but those are all things you can't control. So you have two options. You can either just play victim, right? And say, well, he's a dick, that's why my life sucks, that's why I'm miserable, that's why I'm stressed, that's why this isn't working. Or you can focus on what role are you playing? How can you set stronger boundaries, right? Are you interacting with him way more than necessary? Are you involving yourself in conversations that don't need to be happening and that aren't going to amount to anything, right?
That was me.
Are you taking care of yourself? If you're stressed, it's easy to be like, well, it's because he's doing this to me. Well, what are you doing for you? Are you drinking too much? Does your sleep suck? Right? Are you doing things that just distract yourself and don't actually address the problem so that you can work through your thoughts and emotions, right? So it's like, what can you take responsibility for? What do you have control over? And when you do that, it empowers you. It puts you back in the driver's seat so you can take control of your life, so that you can figure out your own shit, and so that you can make better choices in the future. Like for me, after my second divorce, I had a whole stack of reasons as to why those marriages didn't work that weren't my fault.
Yeah.
He did this and he didn't do this and he was like this and he did that. But it was like, okay, but what role did I play? Obviously, I'm a common denominator here as well. I've been divorced twice and I don't want to get divorced a third time. So what can I do? What can I take responsibility for? Where was I mentally and emotionally when I started those relationships? What red flags was I missing or ignoring? What boundaries did I not set, right? Like what role did I play so that I know not to do that shit again, or so I can take my power back and focus on the things that I do have within my control.
I think it's funny. Like when you were talking, I was having a flashback to my marriage, and I was having a flashback to when we would fight, you know, we'd banter back and forth, and then he would love bomb me. Like, I'll go get therapy. I'll help. And so he was projecting that it was his fault. So it was very easy to be like, see, he's apologizing, trying to get me back. He's saying he's going to go to therapy. He's trying to win me over. And so it kind of created this narrative in my mind that I wasn't the problem, you know, that I had nothing to do with it, that he was, you know, the asshole, that he was the mean guy. And then for some reason, when we got divorced, I thought everybody would grow up. Everybody would change. Everybody would, no more would we fight.
The kids' best interest, right? Yeah, ahead of their own.
Yes, that I was like, okay, everything will be better because we're divorcing now. And so he'll grow up, I'll grow up, and we'll have this better relationship because we won't be married. And it is that comical. That's not necessarily true until both of you do the work to improve your freaking life. Like,
yeah, and not everybody's going to, right? So that's the other thing is like, you've got to lower your expectations. Maybe you are doing the work and you want to try to be friends and try to be amicable and you want to put the kids' best interest first. That doesn't mean that your partner is going to have those same goals.
Oh, not even close. Yeah, not even close. I mean, so I was thinking this whole time, you know, when I separated, like, okay, I'm away from him, everything will be better. And then we started our court case. And I'm like, there's no way he's going to go for this. That doesn't seem logical. You know, like I've always been the care provider. And then boom, he filed for sole custody. And I was like, what? And then again, I fell victim. Like, how dare him do that to me? And I played that victim role for so long through that whole thing because I couldn't believe the audacity, because again, I was expecting him to react the way I was reacting, which was being okay with the divorce and like, let's move on and let's be that lifetime special where we hang out together and do pictures together and do Christmas in the morning still. And he just hated my guts. And I kept trying to win him over. And then when he didn't win me, I didn't win him over. He hated me, showed me that he hated me. And then I would be like, oh, see how bad I have it? And I was going to someone for attention that I shouldn't have been going for. What I should have been doing was looking at myself and being proud of myself at what I'd accomplished, that I got out of a shit marriage. I was nailing it as a single parent. I was paying my bills for the most part on my own. You know, I was paying them on my own, but sometimes I wasn't paying them because I didn't have the money. But I was struggling, but I was doing it. I should have been looking at myself and being proud of myself. But instead I kept going to a man that treated me like shit for confirmation that I was doing good. And until it's
a habit, right? Because you did it for so long.
I was a serial dater. I mean, serial dater. Junior high started, I never stopped having a boy in my life. I mean, it was just, I never was alone until I hit that 8-year mark of post-divorce. Co-parenting was shitty. And solitude was single for 2 years. Best decision of my life. Do I think everybody needs 2 years? No. Do I think you need a time by yourself? Yes, I do. I think you need to self-reflect and say, how did I play a role in that? Mm-hmm. That was a shit show. How did I play a role in that? Because you played a role. I don't care if your husband cheated. I'm going to say it louder. I don't care if your husband cheated. I don't care if he gambled. I don't care if he was an alcoholic. I don't care what you think he did. You played a role at some capacity as to why you either allowed the behaviors, enabled the behaviors, participated in the behaviors, or stayed in the marriage.
And we're not justifying that. We're not saying how is this your fault?
Right.
But you have to understand where you were, what choices you made, what things that you could do differently next time so that you get different results.
Right. I mean, we all had the red flags before something hit the fan. We all had a red flag go in front of our face that we went, no, I'm going to ignore that. And then when the 50 red flags went in front of us, then it was easy to say, your fault. But we didn't pay attention to those small red flags that kept popping up everywhere. We just dismissed them, pushed them away, because it was so much easier to play victim and point fingers when there was 50 red flags in front of our face. See, everybody will believe me now. I'm not the problem. It's somebody else. And this really goes not just in your marriage, but it goes into your co-parenting. People play victim all the time, you know, and I hear this a lot from both sexes. You have no idea what she's doing to me. Yeah, I do. I have an idea of what you're allowing her to do to you. You're allowing her to fuck with your parenting time. You're allowing her to interrupt your parenting time. You're allowing her because you're not fighting the good fight. You guys, when you're in a post-divorce life with a high conflict co-parent, you can't always just give in. You are going to have to get a little dirty sometimes to hold yourself true to what you want and not just be like, well, she took my parenting time away. Don't let her. If you
it takes practice. Like,
yes.
You know, especially if you were in a high conflict relationship, sometimes you're afraid to confront that person.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're a people pleaser, you don't want to rock the boat. Like, you don't want confrontation. And so it takes practice for you to build your confidence so that you can believe that you deserve to set those limits and to have those boundaries and to express what you will and will not tolerate. And especially with a high conflict person, then a lot of them, you know, we talk about narcissists too. A lot of them, they don't think that rules abide by them. They think that they're above rules. So you're going to set boundaries and they're most likely not going to respect those boundaries. So that's then when having some kind of consequence is important. There has to be some kind of consequence that happens when they're not respecting your boundaries. And because we're not setting them, when we're not doing that for high conflict people, we're enabling them to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. Because then I have people come to me and say, but Sam, you know, he's doing this. And I'm like, he hasn't paid child support in 15 months. And you're like, what should I do? You have to show him that you're not fucking around. Go file the contempt charges. Sitting here and playing victim, you're part of the problem why you haven't had child support in 15 months. You are allowing him not to pay it. You haven't told the court that he had. No, only people that know that he hasn't paid it are you and him. You have to tell the court that he's not doing something. Now, if the court doesn't help you, that's a whole different story. But a lot of you will say, well, he's not, you know, bringing the kids on time. But have you told him? Have you confronted him? Have you done anything? Have you kept the kids 5 extra minutes to say, hey, you were 5 minutes late, so I'm keeping them 5 minutes to prove to you that being on time is important. You have to play a role in being in control of your own life instead of sitting back and blaming others. And the other thing I kind of like goes along with this, I think, is that when you keep playing victim and you don't take accountability, you're going and you're playing victim to your mom, to your girlfriends, to your social circle, and everybody starts going, geez, Sam, get your shit together. Every time you call, all you do is whine and bitch, and you're going to isolate yourself really quickly because people around you are like, okay, Sam, but is this all you got going on? Like the victim card, but are you doing anything? Your friends are probably telling you, stick it to him, call him out, file the charges. And you're like, no, I can't. You're kind of okay and content with staying that victim too, and not taking some self-awareness of going, okay, this is happening to me. How do I change this?
And somebody's saying, I agree. I stayed in an abusive narc marriage for 6 years. Yeah. Just like getting to that point of, oh my gosh, good morning from Texas. Good morning. Good morning. So I'll give you, let's throw in some tips on like how to begin. So we talk about this. Okay. Self-awareness. Well, some of you will be like, well, how, like, what does that look like? How do I even start doing that? So here's a few things, and then we'll take any questions you guys have. So the first thing, we talk about this all the time. A lot of you don't listen and you don't do it. Start journaling.
Yes.
Listen, Sam's been in therapy. I've been in therapy. Together there's been years and years of therapy and multiple different therapists. Fucking journal, okay? This is a tool that's accessible to anybody. Go get a scrap sheet of paper if you don't want to go buy an actual like journal from Amazon or Walmart or something like that. Write it down. You have to help yourself. If you have all of these thoughts and feelings, like all of these emotions in your brain, it's too hard to make sense of that yourself. So if you're not going to like work with a therapist or work with a coach, then you need to figure out ways to understand what's going on yourself. So write it down. It helps you see your own shit more objectively. It also helps you answer questions that you didn't even know you had the answers to. And it also tracks your progress, right? Because self-awareness, we forget sometimes like how far we've come. I can't tell you how many clients have come to me, and they're like, I'm just so frustrated. Why do I still get triggered? Why am I still upset? I feel like I should be further along than I am now. But then you can go back and look, oh shit, I remember feeling like that a month ago, and I definitely have improved. I've definitely gotten better. I've definitely made progress. So journaling is such a good tool. You have to be doing it. And here's another thing. A lot of people tell me, like when I say that they should be journaling, they're like, well, I don't know what to journal about. Like, I don't even know where to start or what to say. Journal prompts. You can Google them if you want to look them up yourself. There's a million on the internet prompts to help you. In the support group, I put a journal prompt in there every single week. And I also have a divorce recovery digital bundle that you can grab. There's a ton of stuff in there. It's still only $27. I know Sam's was yelling at me.
$27.
So go get it while it's still so cheap.
Right.
But there's 30 days worth of journal prompts in there and affirmations to help with all that negative self-talk. So you have to do something. If you're not doing it, it's not going to work. You have to start putting in the work so that you start making progress and getting the results that you want.
I would say even along with that, if you're not a big journaler, it's living in your head. And until you put it pen to paper and get it out into where you can reread it to yourself later or burn it. I don't care what you do with it, but you got to get it out. You got to get it out just because otherwise for me, I called it the Rolodex. I'd be doing my day just fine. And out of nowhere, the Rolodex would just start spinning and it would stop on him. It would stop on my situation. It would stop on the thing that happened just yesterday, the text message, the email, the lawyer letter. And it was like, shit. And so then all of that was like, I had 55 tabs open in my brain and I had to get that stuff out. So before I went to bed, I started journaling. Sometimes I was journaling at work just to get it out, just to where it wasn't in my brain anymore, so I can go back and read it later. That's why have people journal for hers. I have people start journaling about their parenting plan. You see a great idea on TikTok, write it down, journal it down. So it's not in your head. You are already trying to be a single parent, raise children, go through a divorce, start your co-parenting journey. You have to be able to get shit down to where you can reference it later. I think too many of us, women especially, we keep too much up here. We're keeping passwords. We're keeping childhood cell phone wall numbers. We have too much shit in our head. You got to put stuff down, especially the worry stuff. You got to put down. Who is Leah Marie? Leah Marie is over here on TikTok. You can follow her at Mindfully Ready. Leah Marie, she's everywhere. Divorced and Empowered. Whoever. How do you find you on TikTok?
Is that on? At Mindfully Ready is my handle on TikTok.
Mindfully Ready, Max.
And we're live every week too on there. Yeah, someone's saying yes, self-love. Nothing changes if nothing changes. That's so right. Take your power back. Yes, yes, yes.
Yep, I'm doing the same thing. So what's the next? Journal. What's another one?
Journaling. So here's another thing that you can do to help cultivate self-awareness. Now this can be a little tricky, so you want to be careful, but seek feedback from others, trusted people who know you, people who you know are in your corner, your friends, your family, maybe even coworkers that you're close with, but reach out to them and just ask, tell them the scenario, tell them how you're feeling and ask what role you're playing, or if there's something you're missing, like what is my blind spot here? Now, what can get tricky is that you don't want to get defensive about it, right? So you're asking for feedback, for honest feedback to help you see yourself more objectively and find things that you can't see or that you don't understand. So when they give you that feedback, try really hard to not get defensive, but to just kind of sit with it. Think about that, process it a little bit, consider it. Is it true? Is there something that you're missing?
I think for me, that happened a lot. My parents were happily married. I'm going through this divorce. They don't know what it was like. They were teen parents. They survived hell and stayed married, being so young. And so I think part of them were like, they didn't like my husband, but then they were like, but once you're divorced, you got to go harder, go for the jugular, ask for this. And I was like, but that's not who I want to be in this divorce. And so I didn't do some of the things they said. It bit me. I should have played fire with fire, and I didn't. And I tried to play with a fire extinguisher and it didn't work. And then later in my co-parenting journey, my mom and dad were always like, You're being too kind. You're being too nice. He's walking all over you. He's treating like shit. And I was just like, but this is how I have to do it. And it wasn't. They were absolutely right. They saw me putting my own needs down and doing everything for him, which my children were watching me do. And they saw that too. And it was making them firing mad to where we almost got in a lot of like altercations of like, Sam, you need to do. And I was like, but I can't. And then once I started doing it, I was like, oh shit, they were right the whole time. They were showing me, you need to be aware. You're the one that's allowing him to do that. You're the one that's answering. You're the one that's giving. You're the one that's going over there. And it really helped when I got Jared, my unicorn in my life. He doesn't have the emotional attachment to the situation. So he can look at a scenario and say, you're thinking too much with your heart. You have too much emotion into it. This is a business transaction. Do this, do that. And I would be like, oh, but he was right. I mean, so true. So asking those people that don't have that emotional connection to
like support groups. So like you guys, if you're not in, because I know some of you are on TikTok. So Sam and I both have support groups. You can click the link in my bio. So mine is Divorced and Empowered on Facebook. Wow. Sam has two. It's The Ugly Truth of Divorce and also The Ugly Truth of Co-Parenting. Come into the support group. Put your questions in there. Ask other people. Get that feedback, that objective feedback for people who aren't emotionally attached or invested in your particular situation. And if you feel like nervous about putting your name and your picture in there, there's an option to post anonymously. So take advantage of that. Yes, someone says the Facebook group is the best. I'm so glad. Yeah, that's my family right now telling me to take him for all he has. Yeah. So, you know, be careful. Like, make sure they're not. But it's so tricky, right? Because sometimes they want what's best for you, but then they give you advice that's not like super practical either. But really, this is about you and like self-awareness, right? Not about how can I do things to others necessarily, but it's like, what role am I playing? How can I take responsibility? Where are my blind spots? How can I navigate this better?
Right. We're getting comments of just people saying, you know, like, fuck it, I finally filed. Yeah. I mean, it's ripping a Band-Aid off. You know, if you really think about it, it's no different than when you were married and you were sitting on that fence of, do I divorce or not? You know, and you finally ripped the Band-Aid off and you did. You said the words and you got it done. When you're in your co-parenting journey or even in your divorce, when you finally hit a wall or a rock bottom where you're like, no, I am not going to tolerate this anymore. I've been allowing it. I'm self-aware that I'm part of the problem and I'm no longer going to do it. And you give feedback back to your high conflict. You tell them the what for the first time. Prepare for battle, because they are not going to appreciate the fact that you have this new tough exterior, that you have the ability to say, fuck you, I'm done, or no, I'm not doing that, or kindly disregard, or I'm not engaging, because they're going to try to break you and say, whoa, no, let me say the hurtful comments to you real quick so I can break you real quick, Sam. So you'll go back to doing what I want you to do, which is bend over backwards, put your own feelings aside so I can control the situation. And you are going to have measures in place that when you finally give the what for and show your boundary, that you have support, whether it be strangers from our support groups, us as your divorce coach, your friends and family, your coworkers, your best friend, whoever it is. You've got to have those people around you saying, oh, you did good, girl. Stay there, hold that spot. Don't give in, because it is really hard to do by yourself. Because when you were married and they manipulated you and got you in that love bombing phase, you fell for it. How many times? And I fell for it for 3 fucking years. Right. I got pregnant again during a love bombing phase because I thought this is the time. He really gets it now.
Because hope always dies last. We want it to work. We want to believe they're being honest. We want to believe they change. We want to believe that they mean what they say. Mm-hmm. So again, self-awareness. Well, let me pay attention to his actions, not just his words. Talk is easy. He can say the words, but like, are his actions aligned with it? Does he back those things up, or does he constantly go back on his word, right? Is it this up and down and hot and cold and back and forth? That's what creates that trauma bond with narcissists. And then it makes it even harder to leave. So you have to say, okay, well, what role am I playing? Why do I want this to work so badly? What's going on with me?
That was me. Why did I want to co-parent with somebody that didn't like me? Why did I want to have this words of affirmation from a man that I didn't value? Why did I put so much value on his thoughts and his words? Yes. That was a therapy issue, which I worked out with my therapist. heads up, it's a family past childhood issue.
Yeah.
That I finally got. And it's a confidence,
Yes. It all comes down to that and that's what happens too. Like if somebody, like when I have clients who are like, he left me, without notice, he left me for another woman. He totally pulled the rug out from underneath me, but I want him back. And it's like, okay, but let's ask the hard questions. Why do you want to be with someone who clearly doesn't want to be with you?
Preach.
Why do you want to hold on to that? Why do you want to be with somebody who's been lying to you for 10 years? That's the question.
And why do you have no self-worth that you're nothing without him standing by you? That's the part I think too many of, I'm going to say it, young people when they get married think that we are together and we are one. Okay, I'm proud of you for thinking that, but if by chance he gets hit by a truck and he's gone, who are you? If he goes and cheats on you and he leaves, who are you? You guys got to keep building yourselves up, even when you're with somebody. I can't rely upon Jared, my unicorn, to make me whole every single day. I got to put my pants on. I got to work out. I got to eat good. I got to come down here. I have to have good people. I have to fill my own bucket. And it's great to have a little bit of sprinkled things on top of my bucket from him. He doesn't fill my bucket. I fill my fucking bucket every day.
Yes.
Which then makes me a great partner to have. And when my bucket is empty because I didn't fill it, we struggle. Because then I go to him like, come on, fill my bucket up. So those of you that, like she's saying, that when somebody smacks you upside the head and says, I've been cheating on you for 6 months, our marriage is over, and you feel empty, you are relying upon someone else to fill your bucket every day. You can't do that. Successful marriages have two people that fill their own fucking bucket so much, they overfill it so much themselves that it does help carry over and pick up your partner on a bad day, but not every day. Not every day. And I think that's the issue, that you feel broken when someone mistreats you or leaves you, that you're nothing without them.
Yes. Or that's what you make it mean.
Yes.
Right? If somebody makes a decision like, I'm leaving you, I've been cheating on you, I've been lying to you, don't make that mean you're not enough. You weren't worth it. You weren't worth the work. You're hard to love, right? You have to be so careful. Again, self-awareness. What are you making his choices mean? It's usually not anything to do with you. That's his own shit, right? Yep. That's his own shit that he needs to figure out. Right. Yes, it's hurtful. Yes, it's something that's difficult to experience. But again, you've got to take your power back.
Oh, man, somebody made a good comment. They said, we're taught as kids, though, through social media that your partner is what makes you whole. Yeah, the stigma of,
you will be Jerry Maguire, you complete me. Blah, 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 blah. It's the worst. It's such a toxic message. That's how I fucked up. That's how I wound up with 2 divorces, because I was unhappy. I had no self-esteem. I was afraid of being alone. Oh, a relationship's the answer. Where's my Prince Charming? Where's my other half? Where's where's the person that will make me feel fulfilled? That's not the game we're in. You have to do all of that shit yourself. You have to fill your own cup. You have to get yourself to a place where you're whole and happy and fulfilled all by yourself. A relationship is bonus. It is extra. It's like the cherry on the sundae. You don't need it.
Right.
It's nice. It makes things nice, makes things easier, right? But you don't need it. And that is such a terrible message that we've been fed since little girls. Like, look at fucking Disney movies. Yeah. The girls are always in distress. I need the guy to come save me. Prince Charming. Like, it's really it's a problem.
I think so. I'll give you a little hint as what my therapist said years ago to help me realize why I needed this. And it was because when I was younger, I was always seeking other people's approval. I wanted my dad to tell me how proud he was of me at my basketball game. I wanted him to say how good of a grades I got. Where my mom mostly did that role, my dad was quick to criticize. And so I fed off of men criticizing me. Like, I always had to prove them that I was good enough. Yeah. My dad was young. I mean, my dad was a high school kid having a kid. He was young. He was growing up while I was growing up. It's not his fault. He didn't know any better. But I still struggle with when a man criticizes me that I need to realize, fuck you, dude. I'm good. I'm good. So if you have young children, young women especially, compliment them on what they're doing for themselves. I see you cleaning your room. You're keeping your space clean because that makes you feel good. You compliment the girl or the boy for doing something that they're doing to take care of them. I see you fixing a good breakfast. Good job. You're taking care of yourself. You're showing them and praising them for the things that they're doing to take care of themselves. You see them filling their own bucket. I see you trying out there at that basketball game. I saw you make those amazing passes. You were trying to get your team to score and your team to win. You put everything back that the person is making the action for themselves, and you recognize it. You're not saying, thank you for making those good passes because you made me look good at sitting up here in the stands. I'm proud of you. No, you're showing and relaying messages to your children that praise them for filling their own bucket all the time. I was playing basketball for me. I just really wanted a compliment more than what I got. And so I've had those conversations with them now, you know, my father as I'm older, but that's what I was doing with my ex-husband. He would criticize me and I would try to prove him wrong. Where instead I needed to go, no, I'm nailing it as a single parent. I'm nailing it. I'm doing good. My kids are great. They're thriving. They're happy. They love me. And I know them. And so when he would say, you're a shit parent, I would believe it. When after a while, I'm like, no, I'm not, dude. I'm a great parent. I know my kids forwards and backwards. I'm self-aware that I am killing it and I don't need your words to affect me. So really think about your triggers and what's coming around you. I think we should dive into some questions that we're getting.
Yeah, there's a good comment says it's hard talking about like asking, you know, other people. It's hard to tell lies from reality, who's giving the best advice and who's hurting the situation. And so again, you want to make sure that when you're asking for that advice, you want to be mindful of that person's intentions and where they're coming from, because sometimes it is people who they're projecting their own fears and insecurities onto you. So that's why I said it's a tricky one, right? Like getting advice. But so support groups, that's why like those are great, because those people they have no emotional investment in your marriage or in you. You can just kind of throw something out there and objectively a number of people can kind of put their perspective or their opinions or share their experience. And then you can kind of take all of that information and process it and see what aligns with you and what doesn't, like what makes sense and what doesn't.
Yeah, I had a question earlier. Let's see. How do I keep the inner peace when there's no more talking and we've been living together 90 more days and the doors are slamming, stomping around, stuff getting thrown. The environment just feels so stressful. I mean, for me personally, I'm taking myself out of the equation. I'm going to be gone as much as possible. I'm taking my kids to my mom's as much as possible. I'm going to try my hardest to have music playing, whether low lit music in the house, all over the house, or in my headphones. I'm engaging with the kids. I'm taking them to their rooms and playing. I'm outside playing. I'm going to try my hardest to not be around. I'm also, though, not going to tolerate it as much either. I'm going to say things like, excuse me, slamming doors can be very dangerous. What if one of the kids are following you and they get their fingers stuck? So please think about that. Think of another way to let out your frustration. Because the last thing I want is to bite my tongue and then something does happen and the hand gets slammed in the door because they're not thinking. They're irrational. They're slamming the door. They are being erratic. So I would probably say something if I'm still in the same household, because you're making it toxic for our children and for me to hang out with. What do you got on that one? Anything?
Yeah. You know, so I had to stay for about 6 months with my second husband after we split. So we were able to, like, I took the upstairs bedroom. He took the downstairs bedroom. I tried to avoid common areas. Like I didn't want to be anywhere near him. I didn't even want to hear him breathing. And so I really just avoided him as much as I could. On weekends, I made plans. I was out of the house. I wasn't there. I spent a lot of time in my room. Spent a lot of time just in my daughter's room, just watching movies with her, playing games, or journaling, meditating, gratitude practice, self-help books, podcasts. Like just get in your little cocoon and do as much self-help as you can and start your healing now. You don't have to wait.
Right. And if you have 90 days, just what she just said, how much can you accomplish in 90 days? I'm going to work out every time a door slams. I'm going to do 10 jumping jacks every time and make it a game. Reward yourself for making it 10 days, another 10 days, another 10 days. I made
a calendar.
Now only
a calendar, cross the day off.
Only 70, now only 60, you know, and plan things. I'm going to go for the weekend. I'm going here. For the weekend, I'm going here. I had another great question of the accusation question of like, we're starting our process. He's coming for me and making all of these false allegations. And if you've hung out with Leah Marie and I, we talk about this quite a bit. So go back and watch a lot of our old videos. But in a nutshell, that's you taking them for truth. Like when you hear accusations about you, whether somebody says you're fat, you're lazy, you're not a good mom, you're an alcoholic, you work too much, you know, yada, yada. Part of you believes it because there's a small 2% of it that is probably true. I am a little overweight. I mean, I'm a lot overweight, but I'm a little overweight. I maybe do drink more than that person. I do work a little bit harder. I do have, not as flexible hours. And that little bit of recognition that's been bothering you, when they say it out loud, it hurts even deeper. But sometimes these allegations are completely outlandish and completely false. And what I've learned in my experience of 12 years is that's usually what the other parent is doing. So they're quick to say, you're cheating. Oh, you mean you're cheating? You're just trying to accuse me first. But we have to look at, it's a distraction. This person is distracting you with these false allegations to rattle you, get you fucked up in the head, to where you make an irrational decision, to where either you go crazy and lash out and they have evidence that you flip the fuck out, or B, that you get so panicked, worried that you settle on something because you're fearful of having that conversation. Or 3, you get just so distracted with that you have no idea what's going on over here. And that was me. I got so distracted with playing defense against all of the accusations that I didn't think about, shit, what goes into a parenting plan? Because I'm too busy over here defending myself that I'm not an alcoholic, that I'm not a hoe, that I didn't get fired from I was over here looking in this corner. And then over here, they were making a parenting plan that was 4 pages and had me sign it because I was still so distracted with this shit that I didn't realize the 4 pages that I was signing was going to keep me in court for the next 8 fucking years. Because I was like, well, at least they don't believe this. Who fucking cares if they would have believed that? Instead, I signed something that was completely shit, and it kept me in court forever. And the accusations didn't fucking stop. They just kept coming for 8 years. But it was smoke and mirrors. I was watching the smoke, and over here on the backside of the mirror, shit was happening. But I all the time was over here. And it's just, I kick myself all the time that I didn't realize it was a game. And I played into it. I believed it. I was like, oh, the judge is going to believe this. The judge is going to think that. And I had no confidence to know that those things weren't true. And no matter if you say them, doesn't make it true. Yeah. I believed it.
Yeah, because we get scared, like, oh, what if the judge believes him, right? Yeah. But that's the thing you guys have to remember, too. They hear this shit all day. All day, people are in there spewing lies about the other person and trying to make them look bad. Like, they know that's the game they're playing. So unless they've got receipts, you really shouldn't be stressing out too much about it. And just don't do shit that you know can be, like, if you're making choices that you know aren't great or aren't going to make you look good, just don't. Just wait to make your bad choices after everything's finalized.
And that goes into the parent alienation. We had a question about that too inside our support group. Somebody saying, dad's accusing me of parent alienation. That again is a lash out. That again is words. That again is just an accusation, unless there's receipts, unless he has text messages saying you're denying parenting time, you've canceled on him, you've had no makeup time, you're not returning phone calls, you're not informing him of things. If he has evidence to say that you are trying to X him out, then I would be worried. But if he has no evidence, then a lot of times, again, you guys, this is just somebody that's hurt.
Empty threats.
He's backed into a corner. And the only way to get out of the corner is to lash out with dangerous comments that make you question your own self-worth and what you're doing.
There's a question here. So he's going to be moving out and wants 50-50, but doesn't want to start it when he leaves. So what do I do?
You only write on paper what you're doing. So if he wants 50-50 in the future, then he goes and files for 50-50 in the future. You're only writing down what you are doing right now. Now, I'm all for a progressive plan if that's what you both want. If you both want, okay, we're doing this for right now. In 2 years, we'll do this. In 4 years, we're doing this. But that's basis on the premise that everybody's a good person for 2, 4, 6 years. If he wants 50-50, then he's going to have to go file for 50-50, because I am not, and you will not, write down something that benefits them on paper, but you're not actually doing it. I see this all the time. Can you please just put it on paper that we're doing 50-50, and I'll let you have the kids more? And most moms that feel weak will say, okay, I just want the kids. I just want the kids. Well, what you just did, Mom, was you signed up to take responsibility for more meals, more showers, more electricity, more time with the kids, more gas and running them around, and more clothes, everything more at your house. But they aren't paying the calculations that's required by child support because they got in the 50-50 stipulation that they maybe not have to pay as much. So only write down what you're doing. Don't let somebody talk you into writing down something that you're not doing. That's a big
How
no.
do you approach finding an attorney that will fight for you in a misogynistic court culture? It's a good question for you because you went through a few attorneys.
I'm telling you, like, I would say hands down, about a year ago when I had a client inside my support group, Samantha Z, she's amazing. I mean, I could tear up talking about her because she really changed my business and the idea. She said, from now on, I am only going to help people that have parenting plans, and that's how they go find their attorney. You really have to, and this goes in with a question that was posted in our support groups. When's the best time to work with me about your parenting plan? To go find an attorney that's going to fight your fight. You are the only person that knows your story. You are the only person that knows your ex, knows your children's needs, and can read into the future because you've been the mom or you've been the primary parent that can see into the future. You know what you want for your kids. You have to take those goals and details and future thinking and put it on fucking paper. Then you take that paper, you take that parenting plan, whether you work with me or somebody else that's just as amazing, you get that fucking awesome parenting plan, and then you take it to every attorney that you have a consultation with and you say, look, I am divorcing something that you have not seen. And if you have, then you're going to know that this parenting plan is needed. I want you to read this. If you can back me and support me that I need protection in detail and future thinking like this thing has, then I will hire you. If you don't, then you are not the cup of tea for me and I have to move on to the next attorney. Your attorney is going to, some attorneys, not all, will give you smoke and mirrors of like, yeah, I can get that. And then 2 months later, they're like, no, we can't go ask the judge for that. You want somebody, when they read an awesome parenting plan that has details, go, holy shit, this is fucking amazing. Yeah, this is going to keep you out of litigation for the most part. This is going to keep you moving forward. You don't have to talk to your ex very much because this parenting plan is so detailed. You have to have an attorney that understands your fight. And if you have a special circumstance, you have a disabled child, special needs child in school, you have a military, you've been staying at home, you've been financially, if you have something special about your case, go find an attorney that has handled a special case like yours. You do not want to be popping any attorney's cherry of being the first fucking one that they've ever dealt with a special circumstance. But I'm telling you now, getting that parenting plan and using it to go recruit and scout out attorneys is the best thing. Because what if you hire an attorney and then 2 months later you work with me, you build this awesome fucking parenting plan that you paid good money for, and then you take it to them, they go, I don't like that. Wait a second. I just gave you a $10,000 retainer 2 months ago, and now you're telling me you're not going to do what I need you to do? So recruit the attorney that's going to support what you want in the future.
Yeah. And consultations a lot of them are free. So shop around. And that actually is a good kind of segue too into, so that's what Sam does, is she helps you create those like airtight parenting plans so that you're not fucking around. But also we have a divorce planning coach, and she has this whole list of questions that you should be asking attorneys when you go on consults. Because I know a lot of you, they're like, well, what do I even ask? Like, I'm going to go on these consults. I don't know what to be looking for. So Alex helps with that, the prep, what documents you need, how to get organized. So this Friday, you guys, in 2 days, we're having the Ultimate Divorce Workshop. If you click the link in my bio, it takes you to my website where you can get information about everything we're talking about. But it's going to be myself helping you with the mental and emotional side of divorce, Sam with parenting plan details, Alex, who's the divorce planning coach, to help you with all of that prep and organization and what questions to ask attorneys. And then Ebony's also there, who's the divorce money coach. So how to budget, how to afford to leave, how can you make more money? How can you get out of divorce debt, right? All four of us are there for $47. You get to come spend a whole hour with us. You're going to get a ton of information. And there's a live Q&A. So you can ask us all of your questions. So click the link in my bio, sign up. It's this Friday, March 17th, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And then even if you can't come hang with us live, when you enroll, you get 30-day access to the replay of the whole thing.
Right. The other thing, with the consultations, some people are like, consults aren't free where I'm at. And we totally understand that. But here's the deal. I would rather spend $200 to learn whether this attorney is for me or not for me. Because if I pay $200 for the consult and I hire them and I spend $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 when I could have found out for $200 that they weren't for me. So make sure you are shopping and comparing attorneys. I don't care if you walk into your first attorney and they blow your fucking socks off. I don't care if I'm blowing your socks off right now. Go talk to another attorney. Go talk to another divorce coach and compare us, and then come back where your gut feels like it should be. Not your price tag. Where does your gut feel like it should be on having the person that best represents you? And ask your attorney, and I'm just going to give you this one for free. Ask your attorney, what are you bad at? Because I'm going to tell you, attorneys, they have to be able to talk, litigate, go to court, do paperwork, keep organized, stay on task, have a good relationship with the judges. What are you bad at? And if an attorney tells you, I got it all, I've been doing this a while, I'm good at everything, they're blowing smoke up your fucking ass. I want you to hear, you know what? I'm going to be honest, Sam, organization is not my thing. I hope you can keep us organized. I got a paralegal that's still kind of learning, but I am amazing when it comes to trials. I'm amazing. Have your attorney speak some truth to you. My last attorney out of 3. Yeah, I'm interviewing them. A lot of you think that when you go to these consults, you're getting interviewed by your attorney to see if they want to take you on or not. No, motherfucker. I'm interviewing you to see if you are worthy of my 10 grand retainer to go save me and my children's future. I'm interviewing you. So you come with questions. Don't sit and wait for an attorney to ask you questions. You go in with questions. And quite honestly, you guys, if you're in for the long haul with the high conflict, you got to make sure this attorney and you have a relationship. I have so many clients that say, I fucking hate my attorney. Well, did you not pick up on that in the consult? You got to be asking these pointed questions. When do you call people back? How do you like to communicate? Will I have your cell phone number? When do you do billing? Who's your paralegal? Can I meet her? Because most likely you're going to have a really good relationship with the paralegal, not just your own attorney. So make sure you are really encompassing the whole office and how they work. But an attorney that can't tell you they're bad at something, there's not being honest. They're not. But this is a business to them too. You know, this is a business to them. So everybody
is asking if you can go to court without an attorney. Like, what if you can't afford an attorney?
Absolutely. It's America. You can represent yourself.
You get a mediator. Can you get a mediator if your other person is working with an attorney? Or does the mediator have to be the only one between the two of you?
Nope. A mediator can go with somebody that's pro se and somebody that has an attorney. A mediator is just a third neutral party like myself. I don't care who comes in front of me. I'm just giving you ideas on what's best for your kids based on the information you're giving me. But ultimately, the people pick what they pick. So yeah, you can represent yourself. I'm telling you, you guys can figure out so much at your law office, at your courthouse. A lot of courthouses now, because of where people's finances are, can't afford attorneys. So a lot of law offices will offer a higher up floor, like the third or fourth floor, maybe a law library where you can go read books, read things. And there's always someone in there that's helping you file things electronically. A lot of court systems went to e-filing since COVID. To where you can file stuff, but they'll have somebody up there. That person can't give you legal advice, but they're really going to help you make sure you filled out paperwork properly so it doesn't get kicked back. They can't put the contents, but they can help you. So there are free resources out there to help you guys. Go research, call your circuit clerk's office, ask the questions. You're a taxpayer. Go use the services that your county provides for free to people.
Yeah, and somebody's saying they paid $400 for a consultation. Well, then don't go to those. If you want to shop around, then shop around with the attorneys that will offer free consultations. Don't go to the ones
that are in your price range. That are in your price range. And you guys, everything's negotiable. I don't care if they say, well, our consult's $400. Oh, well, I was really looking something in the $200 range. If they don't say, okay, come in for a half hour then and let's have a talk, they're not for you. They're out for the dime. I mean, somebody that's charging $400 for a fucking consult, they better have their name on that wall, and the building next door and the courthouse better have a special plaque up for them. Nobody's consult should charge fucking $400 to just see if we're a good fit. I'm talking like the $150 to $350 max range. You guys, and I don't care where you're at in the United States or Canada or the UK, you need to find somebody that you can afford to a point, but understand divorce is pricey. I mean, I spent over $100 grand. Should I have spent that much? Absolutely. If I had the knowledge I had now, I probably would have spent maybe $200 and been done with it and filed some paperwork. But I have a shit ton of knowledge now. I know what I'm doing now because I went and got educated. When got educated. Okay, I think we've ran through the questions that were in our groups. Again, you guys, we have something big coming up on Friday where we're working with some amazing other women. I'm going to be coming to you live from a volleyball match in Indianapolis. So if any of you are going to be in Indianapolis at a volleyball tournament, come find me. I will look very similar to this. Feel free to stop me and say hi to me and ask me any questions you want, as long as my kid isn't playing volleyball. But I'm going to be doing the training from there. The other women are going to be at their homes, nice and pretty looking. I'm going to look like a train wreck probably, but that's okay. The point is the content that you're going to get on Friday and hearing from other people. So this is really for people that are starting the process, on the fence, really like, I don't know if I want a divorce. I don't know what to do. I need educated. This is the place for you this Friday. The link is in both of our websites, both of our bios. Wherever you're at right now watching this, you can find the resource here. We'll probably go link today. You and I need to put the links inside our support groups for people to get that ticket here, because I think we are filling up. We got quite a big group this time, so we need to make sure, reserve your spot, get in there. You'll get the stuff sent to you immediately. But if not, you guys, like we say when we end every time, people that don't take action are going to be in the same fucking spot you were yesterday and today. You have to take action on making sure that when you leave this live or you finish watching this replay, that you go and do something with it. You join a support group. You go get the digital bundle for a measly fucking $27. I know all of you have probably already spent $27 today on something stupid. Go actually improve your life with getting that digital bundle by Leah Marie. Go to her website. Go to mine. I have free items. She has free items. We have consultations. Everything is available to you if you go take action and find it and buy it or use it and sign up for it. We have been in your shoes, and had we taken action, she might not have been, divorced twice. I might not have had an 8-year battle and lost a lot of money. Like, we didn't feel comfortable recognizing our own self-awareness and going out and asking for help. So everything you need is a click away. If you don't do anything, like Max just said, nothing changes if nothing changes. You can jump on here and go, fuck, these women are amazing, because we are. But if you don't go do anything to stay connected with us, it was just by chance that you found us today.
Yeah.
Okay. Who is the other person on here? This is Leah Marie. You can go right here on TikTok. If you're watching on TikTok, you can go to Mindfully Ready. She's real pretty. She's got long curly hair, these big, huge eyes. She's gorgeous. You're going to be mesmerized if you see her. What time is it on Friday? It's 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock Eastern. And that means
9 a.m. Yeah, Pacific. But if you can't hang live with us, which I hope you can, because it's so much fun. We did this last month. You get to literally hang out with all 4 coaches and ask us questions. But if you can't hang live, you get 30-day access to the replay of the entire thing. It is worth every penny of that $47.
Who do you have a consult with today? Your attorney or one of us? Yes, Mags is putting your info. Mags put the info in for Leah Marie. She's on the other side of this.
Mags.
Who do you have a consult with today? And I can help you with if you're with me, we're just going to sit. Oh, your attorney. So you're asking them, what are you bad at? How are you getting communication? You're asking to meet the paralegal. You're asking if they've had a case like yours. You're asking for how fast you get a temporary. You're asking for, hey, what does your parenting plan look like, by the way, sir? I would like to see it. And if they can't show you a parenting plan, I would question it. I would question it. I really would.
So somebody asked again, what time Friday? So it's this Friday, the 17th, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. You get to spend an hour with all 4 coaches, a divorce planning coach, a divorce money coach, a divorce recovery coach, and a parenting plan coach. So you get a lot of information. And if you can't come to the live, you get 30-day access to the whole replay. So it's only $47 for all 4 of us. So if you can click the link in my bio, you can go. It's called the Ultimate Divorce Workshop. It's run by your divorce team. And also, you guys, for those of you, because we're on 2 different TikToks and we're in 3 different Facebook groups right now. So if you want to come join our support groups, come join. They're private support groups. Mine is called Divorced and Empowered on Facebook. You can also click the link in my bio. Again, that takes you to my website. So everything is on there. Samantha also runs 2 different support groups. One is the ugly truth of divorce. The other one is the ugly truth of co-parenting. We do workshops in there every week. There's all kinds of information, and you can connect with other women also who are recovering.
Somebody said, does it cover all the states? Yes. What we do is this. We don't specialize in state to state or even the country. What we teach you about is common sense information that should be privileged to every single person getting ready to go through a divorce. Finding information about divorce should not be a privileged thing. You should not have to be privileged to be able to go find resources, hear information, get a checklist or a resource guide. You shouldn't have to spend a shit ton of money to go find out information. And I think some attorneys like to leave you in the dark, like to leave you guessing and like to leave you not informed so that you just go with what they say. I'm ruffling a lot of feathers with attorneys because I'm educating people. And then people that I educate go to their attorney and say, well, I learned this. And they're like, who told you that? And then they get pissed because it's like, well, yes, that is an option. Yes, we could go ask for that. Yes, we could do that. And it's like, yeah, I'm making your fucking attorney a work for what you need them to work for. I want you to have all the options. When I do mediations, you guys, and people say, well, what should we do for Easter? My attorney says we can only switch on Easter day, 8:00 in the morning till 5. No, you can't. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. You could do the whole weekend. You could do an overnight on Sunday. You could split the holiday, which I don't recommend. You could do Saturday to Sunday. But 8:00 in the morning, I see so many parenting plans that say 8:00 in the morning for holidays. Don't do that shit to yourself. Because when you have teenagers, that means you have to wake up your teenager at 6:30 or 7:00 to get them over to the other house. On Easter Sunday, are you kidding me? You want to talk about your kids hating the fact that you got divorced? There you go. Don't pick stupid times. Well, everybody's, well, I have young kids. Well, guess what? You're not going to have young kids forever. And if you write 8:00 down now, the high conflict parent will make you stick to 8:00 forever. So you'll be in contempt if you don't drop off at 8:00. So think long term. And that's what I'm good at. I've been divorced for a long 16 years. And my kids are grown now. I've been through all of these obstacles. So learn from somebody that has lived it. Leah Marie's been married and divorced twice. She's lived this life. She knows where she made mistakes. She knows how to get people out of the negativity rut and the low confidence that a lot of people have in this divorce world. You got to rise above. And for some of you, we're extending the hand. Are you grabbing it? Are you taking the action to grab it and say, yes, I can't do this alone. I don't want to do this alone. I want to go get educated. I want to have somebody help me. I want to have accountability. I want somebody holding my hand. I want somebody that's already figured it out to just tell me the quick, easy fixes to make my life better. You're going to have to do the work, but we're going to give you the tips. So do the work on as soon as you get out of here, you're clicking somewhere for free stuff, paid stuff, or just to follow us some more. You're doing something. If you don't, you get what you get. Don't throw a fit. Mm-hmm. As the storybook says, you get what you get and don't throw a fit because you have no self-awareness that you are staying in the same fucking pity party and not doing anything about it. It's hard work. It's going to be hard work just clicking for some of you to admit that I need to go get this. I need to go follow them. This is my life. It's going to be hard for some of you, but you got to do it. If you don't do it, you're going to stay in the same boat. That's it. All right, what do you got going on the rest of the day? I have consults. I'm actually helping one of my family members today for the first time. I'm a little nervous about that, but I'm helping a family member today. What do you got going on in your schedule today?
I'm still working on that workshop. I need to do a private Zoom with you about that.
Yes.
But boundary workshop, you guys are working on a boundary workshop so that you can set boundaries a little bit more easily with your high conflict ex. And so there's a lot that goes into that. So I'm working on getting that out for everybody. And then I got to go to Lowe's because I had my stepdad paint my entire living room and I chose the wrong color. And so now I have to go back and get more samples and he has to come back and do the whole thing all over again because
you got to send me pictures. I need to see. Don't you guys want to know what color the living room is painted? Because I do. How do I make a consult with you? Everything is linked in the bio. I'm just going to tell you, I am taking the last week of March off and I'm catching a lot of shit. Like, Sam, your calendar is booked out till April. I have spring break with my children, you guys. And that is the priority in my life right now is that I go to the beach, I put my feet in the sand, I turn my computer off, I stop listening to everyone else's divorces, and I just enjoy my children for 7 days. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to say that. I said that out loud. I hope I hold to it. But if somebody sends me an email, I'm like, yeah, let me answer that real quick. But yeah, so I'm taking the last week of March off, which I rarely do. I've never taken it off. I've always worked through it. And so my in-laws they're here now and we're getting ready to go see them when we go down. They're like, you're not working over spring break? Because I'm usually like, everybody has to be quiet in the house because I'm doing calls for like 2 or 3 hours. And I'm like, no, I'm not working. And they're like,
yeah, you need the break.
What's going on? So yeah. So I'm kind of excited about it. So any questions, you guys get in our support groups. We answer questions for free inside our support groups. You just type it up and we answer it if you tag us. Otherwise, our support group members, they murder it and take care of it for us because they're all amazing people. Again, a great place to be. People that are like you going through the same things. All right, Chick, I love hanging out with you. I love this every Wednesday. I look forward to it. now I have to go help some clients. So
yes, and we'll be back live on TikTok Thursday.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. Okay.
All right. Have a good day, you guys. Take care. Thanks for following us, Mags. Thanks for being the moderator, and I will see you later.
Okay. Bye.